Hey, welcome back to the AFL Fantasy Podcast, the GT Elite Edition, with me, the coffee drinker. Anyways, if that's not what you call an intro, I don't know what is. Halved my rank, that's nice. Going in a really good direction, but I hate the buys because they just changed the game so much. Anyways, without any thought, any planning, I'm going to go through this video like I always do. There's one thing I do have a certain thought about, a central element of this video I need to talk about, and that is how's your team going to look coming into best 22 part of the season, which, 5 weeks in is rough to not have. But do you have everything you want sorted coming into that? Have you done the appropriate trades? Have you not messed around too much? And I think mine's looking all right. Trading Garcia though, that's a rough one. Still ended up having a really good score, even though I traded Garcia. And I might have to bring him back. You might have to just admit a mistake and bring him back in. Who knows? I might be doing that. Looking through my team here, a lot of the rookies did really well. The Davidsons, and then you had players like Hall, Trainer, Reed. They all really carried this week. So yeah, that was interesting. You had a few down weeks. Essentially, my three main mids, besides Oliver, all below 85. Not very good, but you know what happens. I'm not too concerned. The rest of the team sort of made up for it. Getting in Rankin was really good. He had a peak week, and yeah, he looks great. Rankin looks amazing. Captain Ron Marshall, a massive points jump from Gorn. So I did sort of save my score with my trades this week. Really got a nice jump in points. And that's the sort of balance you should be looking for. You need to be maximizing points as well as cash gen. Gorn lost a lot of cash the last 2 weeks now. So it was actually a cash gen decision with bringing in Marshall as well as a points one. And then Rankin, I just thought this is probably like people got lucky with his sub last week. He just looks really great. And yeah, dropped Will Dave for the inevitable tag he was going to get this week. Had an okay score, but it was some fluky goals and things like that went his way. It could have been lower. Has the bye, and then he goes into Willem Drew tag. So happy to have dropped him off. And look, he hasn't made cash, so it's the kind of players I'm making. An interesting one is going to be Xavier Lindsay. He avoided a serious injury, and it sounds like this sprain he has. Excuse me. It sounds like the sprain he has is going to be not too bad. So you could maybe hold him. I think I'll do that because when he's healthy again, I think he's one of these guys you want on field. So I don't see the point in trading him if he's only out for 2 weeks. I think it will be. He's lost his cash gen a decent chunk, like his momentum with that. But he's a guy you will want on field, and so when he's healthy again, are there people going to be looking to trade him back in? If they traded him, maybe. And it's just one that I think there's more important issues that everyone would have besides trading out Lindsay this week. It's how good of a scorer he is. Who knows? Maybe that's the wrong opinion. Maybe I'll think about that and change my mind. Okay, so Frazier was disappointing. That was an annoying one. I really hope he has a good game against Freo. I'd really like a good score from Prager this week. De Koning subbed out with calf cramps. Bit unfortunate. He ended up being my lowest score in the best 18. So yeah, that's rough. Basically, having Garcia instead of De Koning would have been big. That would have been big. That would give me a 1940 or something. Anyways, anything else to look at? I guess maybe De Koning should have been my VC. Rosie was a late switch. It was Marshall into Dawson, but maybe I should have been looking at Rosie. And not too concerned with Powell because it just wasn't... It was a weird game for Powell. He's just... When I was watching it, he showed he could clearly score like that. The ball just sort of going around him, and he got caught on the bench a bit. And his decision making was higher than most under pressure in that North midfield. I think Clarkson was seeing that and just being even more confident in his role this year. We'll see coming in. Who they play this week? Sydney. I'm not sure if that's a good or bad matchup, to be honest. It's in Melbourne, so... Anyways, let's move to round 4. Is there anything else I'm missing? Davidson, obviously massive. Nah, nothing else really. Coming into this week, Vice Captain Dawson, Ron Marshall captain. It's the last week of the buys, and just looking at how things played out, I can't believe I'm doing it. I don't think you should do it if you still have him, which you probably don't because he's gone down as such incredible value. I'm thinking about keeping Perryman, because maybe he walks back into that midfield role that he missed because Ned Long came in as a late in last week from memory. I think that sort of messed with Perryman. But I'm not sold on this. I just think the trade-ins this week are really important. Ideally, you would already still have Garcia. That's a really frustrating one for me. But I think the 3 main targets are Marias. I'm a little skeptical of him long term. I don't know how fluky his score was, but he did show he can score. He plays the Saints, which is, you would assume, a good matchup at home. I am considering getting Garcia back in over Marias, just because then I have him and Marich, and those are 2 guys I'm happy on field coming into best 22. But as it stands now, Garcia... he came in to that midfield role with Steele's late out. So he started. He was versing Richmond. This is the perfect environment for him to have possibly his highest score of the year. He shows he can score though, so I don't know. If Steele is back, which he probably is, Garcia gets dropped back down in the pecking order in the midfield. Will his time on ground be quite bad again, like he was in round 1 against Adelaide, where he's going back to in Adelaide Oval, and now versus Port, who historically have been pretty tough to score against. I think either I watch him this week or get him in. And I think that the latter is what I'm doing. Just seeing what he can do with Steele back in the team and a rough matchup. I think the more important targets are Marias and Marich for that reason. Or maybe Marich is not who I should be going for and I should be getting Garcia. But Marich looks like he has a great role. He's on the kick-ins, essentially, and just being that sort of quarterback role for the Eagles, and the ball's going to be living in that area. So yeah, these are cash gen and points maximization moves. I think Marias could be good against Saints, but after that, I'm not too confident in his ability to score on field for me. So essentially, I'm looking towards next week as well and seeing what the hell I'd be doing for best 22. I'd probably have to be getting a midfielder, like a good midfielder that's discounted. And maybe if Perriman doesn't do well this week, he's going, and I'm getting a defender. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I really don't think there's that many targets in trades in terms of break-even games, unless you have fix-its to make around the ground. You know, if you had I guess, I'm not really sure who's can go to break-evens. Fun fact: I've never bought AFL Fantasy Coach despite using this platform for yonks. Can't go to it now. I definitely saw this score coming against the Eagles from O'Driscoll. Frustrating not owning him, considering I had him a lot of the preseason, but it is what it is. In terms of break-evens, you're not trading Cherry. You're not trading Gawn coming into Geelong. You're not trading Sheasel. No one has Briggs. Flanders is one to watch. No one has him. Geez, interesting having Walsh. Anyone? You're probably trading Ryan. This guy's, his role's gone. It's not that juicy role anymore, I don't think. And yeah, those are all no one else really has these players. Darcy Moore is absolutely dropping in cash. And if I was looking at a defender, which I have been for Perryman recently this week, it would be Whitfield. Great run. You could go Zorko. This guy's a menace. This guy is an absolute menace. You know, the reason he has found such great form this last part of his career and kept his body healthy, I learned recently, is that he's been doing some serious acupuncture, and he's been open about how it's just instantly fixed a lot of muscle nerves or something like that. It's fascinating. And it's like, proof is in the pudding, you know. Ever since he's been having this treatment, he's just gone off. So whether or not that's just a mental thing, I don't think so. I think acupuncture's been around for a long time. So interesting stuff. Get on acupuncture, I guess. But yeah, Zorko's run and Whitfield's run, these two guys I think are I wish I could magically trade both in this week and have everything good, because I think over the next month these two are possibly going to be the highest scorers for the overall for the next month. Their runs are just ridiculous. I just can't help but think, like, still in the back of my mind, Zorko is 36. He might get a sub just for rest, you know, like, could he just... Last year he got 150 against the Tigers, but there's just no way Brisbane aren't winning by like 70 coming into three-quarter time. Why wouldn't you be subbing out your oldest guy on the field, giving him a rest and letting everyone else just play up a bit more of a role and have him healthy for the next game? Unless he's just uber healthy, I just don't see why you would risk him later in this game. So that's what I'm always going to be concerned about with Zorko for the whole year, to be honest. Whether I end up getting him just because he's that great of a scorer, who knows? So yeah. Perryman emergency here, like, may as well. If he just frauds it up, I can just put Trainer on for Reed and just as a free hit. But yeah, I'm interested to see how Perryman goes, to be honest. I'm talking myself into thinking he'll be good, which is not great. But yeah. Yeah, not sure what else to talk about. Essentially, if you're looking for trade-ins, I would just say it's Marias, Marich and Garcia. I'm not confident in anyone else. I mean, maybe you could go Hall, who has quite a low break-even still. Just not. I mean, he's looking good, to be honest, but Port, this game, who knows? Great pick for anyone who started him or got him in round one. Yeah. Yeah, team value is looking great. We go to the rankings. It's really important to maintain this cash generation for the second part of the year. Otherwise, you'll get left behind quite heavily. If we look at the top team values, the top guy is 20.5. If we add 100k to mine, it's 20.3. But again, these teams could have, cash in the bank. But heading down to, down here, this is sort of the top 100, 200. I'm probably top, looking at this, I'd say maybe 300, 400, around there in team value. It's just really important to be around that mark. And considering I missed some of the big guys like Nevitt, O'Driscoll, Hall, to still be up there, I'm quite happy with. Didn't start Lindsay. Yeah, pretty good. Story of my season is I like it. I'm halving ranks. I'm going in the right direction. Just keep it going. I don't know really else what I could talk about. Maybe captain options for this week. Just off the top of my head, obviously Brisbane have great matchups against the Tigers. So anyone from Brisbane that's a premium is probably a great VC captain option. I really like, I do like Dawson, as long as he doesn't have this sort of calf problem he may have had. I don't think it's a thing. He might get a Took Miller tag. Maybe that goes to Rankin because he's an easier option to tag. But I think a VC and Dawson and then into Marshall for me is great. Sweet's not a terrible player to go against. DeConing VC again would be fine, I would think. I just don't know how he's going to go against Collingwood. But he's been great all season. Maybe I ended up going VC DeConing. Who knows? I think Dawson's just got a better ceiling against Gold Coast. And yeah, I guess Giants are playing West Coast. You really only got Green, Callahan, and Whitfield, and not many people own them. I don't know. I guess you could maybe go there, but not as confident. Yeah, that's about it. You could VC Bailey Smith against Melbourne, or Oliver. These two are interesting options. There's one to think about because Oliver, if he's found his form again, Geelong's an easy matchup for midfielders. Maybe this is the game that the real pig Clayton Oliver comes back, and he's just absolutely going off for a 150. He can do that if he's healthy and everything's going his way. So it's not impossible. 114 is best score for a long time. Could happen. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Going well. Hoping to be, after this round, I would think I have a good round coming in because this is the strongest my best 22 for the best 18 has been all season. I've had buys and trades I've had to do with players coming through because of opening round. That gave me a good cash gen over people that didn't start, and Ash and Taylor and those kind of guys. I would love to be in the top 2k coming into best 22. If you had given me that at the start of the year, I would have taken it, and especially with decent team value, I'd absolutely take it. So yeah, hopefully everything comes together this week, and then it's best 22 the week after, and we can all be rid of these buys, these awful buys. So yeah, main watch this week for me, I think, is going to be Garcia. I guess I have to be targeting a midfielder as well, but that's something I'm just going to wait and see how it plays out. So yeah, how can Garcia go against Port in Adelaide Oval with Steele back in the team. If he gets an 80, I mean, that's pretty good. So we'll see how he goes. And Marich against GWS with no McGovern if he's injured. Really interesting play, and I really like it. And hopefully Moraes can do what he did like he did last week against Saints and just rack up heaps of marks uncontested. Yeah, that's it. Hope you all did well. Good luck this week. Bye.